There is a mindset that makes normal conversations feel like high stakes. Maybe you don't consider yourself socially anxious, but when you get in front of others or certain people, you feel pressure to create conversation, or your mind goes blank, or you don't know how to just be. In this video, I want to show you why this happens, how we create fog in our head that stops us from being present, and how to start getting back into conversations, how you can feel more natural around people. So let's talk about this first. It's who you want to be. That who you want to be that even exists is what's creating pressure. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing because you're probably someone who cares what people think. You care how you present yourself. This is the whole reason why you try to improve yourself. You want to be something or become something. There's nothing wrong with caring, despite some of the advice says just don't care. Well, you do. This is who you are. And I would say embrace it. It's okay to care. When you think about who you want to be in these situations, the mindset that you want to have, and you can identify it, right? The identity that you want is probably something like, yeah, I want to feel relaxed and cool and confident, and that I could just flow into conversations. Then I could be someone that is engaged and curious and just kind of allowing things to flow through. But the reality is, it's not that. You feel this pressure, your mind goes blank. You essentially don't feel like you can be yourself in every situation. And that's what we're going to go fix. The first thing to notice is not that you have nothing to say, or you have nothing to contribute, or you can't think of what to say. That's what it feels like. That's what's actually happening. The problem is that you're creating high stakes, and there's something that triggers these high stakes. It could be just a normal social situation, or maybe you got invited to a party or a work event, or you're in a group setting that is not around an agenda about work. It's just small talk with a group. Suddenly, there's different types of stakes that are created. It's different for everybody. But for some people, it's someone that's like a boss or an authority figure. For other people, it's peers or people that they want to feel that they want to like them. Instead of just being there, there's this test created. Like there's pressure. There's like the stakes are higher. It's not just talking, it's not just being in a room. It's like this moment becomes a performance and a test which you feel judged on. That's a trigger. So there's a trigger around certain people, and that's something for you to notice. When does it happen? Who triggers it? What situations? Understand that, because then you can understand, well, what stakes am I creating? And that, again, this is self-created. What do you think is going to happen if you don't perform well in this moment? Because that's literally what your brain is doing. It's creating this pressure and this test. And once that's triggered, you clam up, and it's not lack of personality. What's happening is your attention is turning inward. Socializing is about talking to people on the outside in the real life. But when this is triggered, it's almost like this fog that starts spreading out and blocking your view. It's all happening inside your head. I say fog because your attention is like this car that's driving toward an actual conversation. But right before you get there, this fog rolls in. Whatever had triggered you, that's what the fog is. That's what's happening why you can't feel like yourself. The fog is self-monitoring. It's what should I say? How should I sound? Are they judging me? Do they think I'm cool? And instead of driving through that fog, you turn back. And where you're turning back is you're turning back into your head. But you know that fog is self generated, and it feels like danger because you don't know what's on the other side. But it's just people talking, maybe some silence, maybe saying something that's a little bit awkward, but it's not the threat that your brain is making it. What's really happening is that we're afraid, not of the conversation, we're afraid of uncertainty. And we don't know what's on the other side of the fog. But we know, if we can be aware that this is what's happening, we know that there's not actual danger on the other side. You're not actually going to drive to your death. You're not going to actually be removed from the group. And maybe the situation is, maybe you're trying to fit in and form a new friend group. But if the result is that you're saying things for them to like you, then you still have the same problem in the first place. You can't be yourself in conversations. So what researchers call this is self-focused attention. Instead of being there, you're watching and judging the performance moment by moment. And what I want you to realize is if you are split, if you're listening, but also watching, the amount of total power and presence that you can have is diminished. What research shows is that things like gaze can trigger this. So if someone's looking at you suddenly, especially for certain people that you're conditioned to this, you'll start feeling it. You'll start feeling that anxiety and that uncertainty. Even if like someone that we perceive as higher than us, right? We create this monitoring, this observation. And instead of just hearing and saying what you want to say, you're hearing and then you have that fog. What should I say? It's just like instead of having a conversation with someone else, you're having a conversation with yourself. That's what's happening. Let's say you want to solve this. The first thing that we're trying to get at is understanding what's happening. Because if you can understand yourself, you can understand what's going on and you can work through it. So if this is resonating with you, there's a fog. Notice that that's happening. Notice that that's different and feels different than when you're sitting here by yourself as someone who's journaling or imagining or creating. Notice the difference in the feeling and the sensation of how you're paying attention. Notice that it's a fog. Name it as a fog. Name it as this layer in front of you that is not allowing you to see and be there, and then move the attention outward. This is the scary part. This is you saying, all right, I'm going to drive through it. I don't know what's going to happen on the other side. Embrace the uncertainty of going through that and just look around for a second. That means letting silence exist. That means noticing if you feel awkward, that you actually got pulled back into that fog. On the other side, you can let silence exist. You could say something honest, and I don't want to give you too much to prepare because that's not the whole point. The point is not to prepare. The point is to be able to talk about things that you want to talk about and be able to do that without having a conversation with yourself if this is the right thing to say. So next time you're in this drive through the fog, for me, I notice myself clamming up mostly when I'm not really engaged in the conversation. I used to be like, oh, what are they interested in? Instead, I just ask questions that give me potential to talk about things that I also want to talk about. And those are the best conversations. With both people get to talk about things that they want to talk about. It does start with curiosity. So you could say something like this. So what kind of things do you like to do outside of work and outside of responsibilities? As someone that's a parent, if I ask that question to someone, I'm hoping to be able to allow myself to talk about the different creative pursuits and things I want to. And just putting it out there and not knowing how it's going to be perceived, not knowing that the conversation is going to go anywhere. The point is that you're not broken, that you're not weird. You're just conditioned. You've been using this mindset and you've had this conditioning that things need to go a certain way for you. What I'm imploring you to do is in these situations, embrace uncertainty and know that that's what present is. Presence is uncertainty. You can see and observe yourself moving toward this more socially confident version of you, not by if the conversations move perfectly, but having and seeing proof that you stayed present, that you allowed yourself to say things that were uncertain, that you stayed present instead of disappearing in your head. Like that's the proof. The proof is trying. The proof is not getting right. The proof is let me go about this in a different way. Because then your identity starts to see you as someone that can do things that scare them, like driving through the fog and embracing uncertainty. That's the proof and that's the change. Because next time the fog comes, it's not going to be as thick because you've seen it. You will be more certain. You'll at least be more certain that you can drive through and it's a safe area to be in. So again, you're not socially broken or not natural. It's just that your brain learned to treat certain conversations like they have higher stakes than they actually do. And the fog is self-generated. And if the fog is self-generated, you can learn to drive through it. Thanks for watching. I put together resources for all these videos, especially if you're someone who wants to reflect on this and to really make it stick. There is a reflection guide as well as some visuals and a link to the self-focused attention study. I'll put that on the Becoming library. And thanks again for watching.